Welcome to this video where I'm going to do a Vale of Twilight and go over the location of all of the explorer points and the rare locations. And I thought I would start here in the 12 because if you're new to the Vale, you may not know how to get to it. And so you want to talk to Gustafine here in the back of the house inside of the 12. He's going to tell you about the Vale of Twilight and send you on a little mission to talk to a dude inside Meridia, which is the town located in the center of the Vale of Twilight. Come out of the house, and we're just going to go around back up a ramp, and the entrance is in the back. And this is what you have to do the first time you go out here. You may not necessarily have to do it the first time if you teleport out there, but you will eventually have to do it, otherwise you cannot finish flagging for the Shroud, because the guy who gives you the quest to the Shroud raid doesn't want to talk to you until you talk to Gustafine in the 12 first. And I believe your ship's captain will not send you out here until you have done this. It might be vice versa. It might be that you can't teleport to Meridia until you've done it, but the ship captains will take you. I can't remember. But one of them is definitely the case. The Vale of Twilight. I used to run Slayers out here just endlessly when I was a noob. And back when the level cap was 20, this was kind of the, I don't know, sort of first upper level Slayer zone. Pretty hard hitting mobs when you're new to the game. At least it was back then. So let's see. First thing, usually when I do my Slayer runs, I start from Meridia, but we're starting up in the corner. So we'll go over here and we'll get the first explorer coming from this way, which would be the Memorial Pillar. And the first rare is right where that Earth Elemental is, can be a Jinn, Bryn Lafleur, which I believe is an Easter egg. I believe he's a reference to the NHL hockey player Ryan Lafleur, but who knows. Right over here, this pillar here is the Memorial Pillar. Thaddeus 14. If you're new to the Vale, it's divided up into sort of 4 sections that you know, if you ever join a Slayer group, people commonly refer to it as the spider side, the bat side, the null side, and the devil side. Right now this is the spider side, and it just refers to that. There are a bunch of spiders over here, obviously. Makes sense from the name, but a couple spider rares too, one of them being a swarm of spiders. And each zone, each one of those 4 sections has a shrine. This is another explorer here, the collapsed entrance. And then the spider swarm rare is right here. And you won't really know if it's up until you kill this first group and see if they're respawning, which they're not. But you'd have about, I don't know, 6 or 8 waves of spiders before you got the chest. So you have your bearings right there. That gate is where I came in at. And the next rare can be right up here in the back. It's a Rakshasa. He's not up. But I just want to show you one other thing. So if you're new to the Vale, it might be kind of confusing. And that is that there's this Jinn down here, and it looks like he's a rare because his name is red. But he's not actually a rare. He's just an irritating Jinn that likes to knock you around. So you can just skip him because he tends to just be irritating because he does that to you. he just counts as a slayer. And over here is the next rare, which is Jukri Spider. He seems to be up a lot. Rares just aren't popping. The rares have about a 50% pop rate here. It seems like some of them are more common than others, though. Like Jukri seems to be up just about every time, at least for me. But the Rakshasa, that last rare they were checking, that one seems to seldomly be up. The next explorer here is the entrance to Let Sleeping Dust Lie. And some trivia about the Vale and the quests out here is that the names of the quests are like names of songs or groups from like the 70s and 80s. Like you got Running with the Devils quest, you know, that's a Van Halen song, and Coalescence Chamber, I believe, or Coal Chamber is a band, and Let Sleeping Dust Lie, which is the the entrance that we just did was the song called Let Sleeping Dogs Lie. And then Rainbow in the Dark is another quest. I believe that's a DDO song or album. The next rare is Pikru, I think his name is. And he's not up either. He would be right where that Carthel Enforcer is. No rares on the spider side, so this is still the spider side. You can see still got spiders over here. And then the entrance to Meridia is right up this ramp.
Meridia, from the Lateran tribe, is constructed from the ruins of an ancient giant temple. It dominates the entire Vale, since turning into an important public commerce.
So now we're leaving the spider side and heading to the bat side. And it's referred to as the bat side because one of the rares is a swarm of bats. The next rare is Lycomedes, and he is also not up. He'd be right where that Fiend Blood Troll is. Striking out on the rares. This is unusual for the Vale. Usually the rares have a really good rate of popping. up here is how you get to the quest, Rainbow in the Dark. Which is located right here, the Den of Obscurity. And you're going to come across this ridge to get to the next Rare and Explorer. Come down here, and then there's a troll, Zachariah Nugroho, and he's up. He seems to be pretty rare. He doesn't pop very often for me. And you're going to come up here to get to the... I can't remember if this one's the Vista or the Overlook. It used to be the highest point in the game. But now that we have storm horns, getting on top of that mountain is much, much higher than this. Pretty cool view when it is light out. Pretty dark right now, though. Blade barrier just chews everything up out here. Should have done this during the day, because you can see the whole Vale. So the spider side was over that way. This is all the bat side. Null side's over there, devil side's over there. I'm going to use this shrine. The bat swarm rare is right down there. We're going to jump down to that from over here, though. Go up this ramp here, and there's a hyena rare. Hellfire? Hellfire. You come along here and follow this path up to the top of this portion, and that's the Quarry Bluff Explorer Point. Right here.
Some small grottos overlooking the quarry. You can picture giants standing here and overseeing their elven slaves' work.
And jumping down to the bats. There'll always be one wave of bats, and then if they respawn, then you'll know you have the rare. Not up. Now we're going to leave the bat side and head over to the null side. There's the entrance to Meridia. And then this rare coming up, Laurel something or other. He's a caster null. Back in the day, he could wipe a whole party of noobs. But he's got this army of methods, which can be really irritating if you don't have some way to take him out quick, you know, because they blind you and stuff. And he'll sit there and cast blade barriers and yada yada. But he's always up. There are two rares out here that are always up. I always like to come back here and get this group. A lot of slayers right back here that you can get if you have a firewall or some other kind of AoE like blade barrier. You just take them all out real quick. Now you may notice that I often jump when I'm casting. If you've played this game for a while, you know what that's all about. But if you're new, the reason why you'll often see people jump cast is because normally, if you're just on the ground running, casting slows you down. And if you jump, there's no slow in the animation. So it's just a faster way to cast. If you're new to spell casting, you want to try it out and get used to it because it is a more efficient way to cast. I want to try to demonstrate that. But these tree forts aren't the best place to do it. So that was an explorer point and a rare there. So I'll show you here. So if I'm running, you can see I slow down just a little bit when I cast the destruction. Not as much as if I didn't have Quicken. I have Quicken on right now. But if I'm jumping, it doesn't slow me down at all. Now the next rare is going to be right over here. It's Galir, and he's up. Ooh, I'm out of mana. time to use the bauble. You see that? It said I wasn't facing him. And he was right there in front of me. That is one of the most irritating things about being a spellcaster in this game. You could be looking straight at a mob and you get that not facing error. So this rare right here, Johanny, he is always up. And then here, underneath this log, is the Sunken Trench.
This trench is there long before the fallen tree that teeters above it.
And we're going to come up here, and this is the Explorer quest entrance to Ritual Sacrifice.
The Twilight Caverns extends deep into the hills surrounding the Vale of Twilight. The windlash of Knowles has established a new village here.
If you listen to the way that the DM says Knowles here, and I want to say in Menectorin as well. Kind of pronounces the G a little bit. This is Gnolls. It's kind of subtle though. So you may never really picked it out. And there's an explorer on top of this next tree fort. This is really good XP out here if you're good with. I mean, most of the upper level Slayer zones are if if you're not spending hours out here. If you know the route, just doing the rares, doing the explorers, and the slayers that you get between. Like here, I'm already up to 42, almost 43,000.
The Windriders use this point to make sacrifices to their gods.
So now we're done here on the null side.
Resistance.
So one more explorer. Which is the Fallen Ancient, this big tree trunk here that's sticking out of the water. You need to swim down through the underwater portion of it. Or at least down to the end of it. You don't have to go through it necessarily.
Tree has come to finally rest in the depths below the Moonlasher village.
And then this is the floating bridge here. At the top in the center is where you pick it up.
The Lateran has constructed this bridge.
And then down here is the trench. You can see there's kind of a structure down there. And you need to swim almost all the way down to the bottom to pick it up.
Sunk deep beneath the surface of the lake surrounding Meridia, this trench was where the giants initially dug for white marble.
And the next explorer point and rare is right here, where Uthseen is. The rare's up. And this is the central camp pickup point. And this part here, this is the only way to get up here from this side. You can also go way around the back side, but that's where you want to come up. This is the entrance to Coalescence Chamber. Coal Chamber for short. And then here's the reflecting pool, or the waiting pool. And this is the devil side now. It's filled with bearded devils and orthons, as well as other fiendish creatures like scorpions, troglodytes, and trolls and lions. There's a funny little, I don't know, bug, whatever you want to call it. The way they programmed this water wasn't so neat and tight, and you can actually swim in nothing right here. You can impress your friends with this trick. Okay, there's an explorer point up here. We're gonna have to go way up top, and this is the vista or overlook. I always get the names of those two confused. And there's another rare on the way, which is an Orthon named Smaragdus. And he would be right where that bearded devil is, so he's not up. Just realized that I have wings and I forgot to load them up. Damn. I just took 18 a little while ago. So this is the overlook. And the last explorer is going to be the Lateran Stronghold, which is the entrance to running with the doubles. So the other way that I said there was a back way to get to a cold chamber other than that one little ramp, which would be to go up here and then jump off of that. Nobody goes that way. So you want to make sure you know that little crevice or the little slope back there by the shrine. The next rare is right here. It's a lion or scene or something like that. He's not up. He would be right in those trees. And then the portal, planar gateway here. This is the last rare. So we started off kind of slow, but we got 8 out of 18 rares, so that's almost 50%. This thing is immune to elemental damage, but can take light damage as well as force damage. I'm not sure about negative, but it's just like the shroud portals. I did a video about a month or so ago of kiting like 120 mobs at once out here. And that is the final explorer. One of the neat things about the mobs out here is they never bounce back, they never white dot out, they never rubber band, so you can just kite them endlessly. Sometimes they just sort of lose interest in you and they just wander off, but you can get just giant groups of mobs kited out here. So let's see, 63, almost 64,000, that's pretty good. And I don't have a pot going. I may have a 10% pot going, but not too bad. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions about my videos, you can respond on YouTube, and if you happen to be on Sarlona, you are welcome to send me a tell.